Hey, what's up you guys? I'm Sara Lubratt, and today we are talking about how you can change your life in 6 months, as well as my goals for the next 6 months, kind of broken down month to month with what I want to accomplish. So if you go on to enjoy this video, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up because that really supports my channel. And now, without further ado, let's get into talking about how you can change your life in the next 6 months. I love setting yearly goals, but there's something that almost feels a little bit intangible with setting goals for 12 months, just because it's such a large amount of time and so much can change within that year. And then when you break things down to like a month to month or even like a 90-day goal setting system, it doesn't feel like quite enough time to work towards really big goals. But at least month to month or 90-day goals are a little bit more tangible, whereas the 12 months are just completely not. But I've been watching a lot of videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube on 6-month goals and 6-month goal setting, because you can change your life so much in 6 months. And 6 months is just such a more tangible timeline than a year. You can do so much in a year if you want to, or if you are able to. But 6 months, again, is tangible enough where it's not, oh, it's a year from now, where you can kind of procrastinate and put things off. 6 months is a very actionable amount of time where you will be seeing progress towards your goals, as well as feeling like you're progressing and being able to keep those goals in sight as you continue. A lot can happen in 6 months. You can change where you're living. You can change your job situation. You can graduate school if you're still in school. And at that point, I understand that that's not applicable to everybody, but so much can change in 6 months. And so what I'm going to be doing for the next 6 months is revisiting my priorities and emphasizing my priorities for the next 6 months so that I can really focus on myself again, because I've been kind of distracted from that, which is so stupid because that is like literally the one thing that matters, is focusing on myself and prioritizing the things that are important to me. But I understand that I've kind of gotten derailed from that for a while now. So now I'm going to be setting 6-month goals for myself and the things that I want to change in the next 6 months. As of the day that this video is going up, today is June 1st, meaning that I have officially lived in Utah for 1 whole year. And that is so cool. It's so cool. And as a part of that, I have learned so much over the last year. And it's just really cool now that I've been watching all of these videos about 6-month goals, that as of June, I'm going to be starting what I'm calling a new year in Utah, because I'm starting my 2nd year in Utah, which is a great time for me to be setting 6-month goals. You can do this at any point, but it's nice that it starts in the beginning of a month for me. And I know that in 6 months, I will know myself even better than I do right now. I know that I will be closer to my goals and my dreams than I am right now. And I will just be 6 months closer to everything that I want to achieve in my life. And there's something that feels so attainable about the 6 months, because it's a very actionable amount of time. For me, that's June, July, August, September, October, and November. And yes, I could have waited until July to make this video, but what fun is that? Like, this just lines up perfectly with my 1 year in Utah. So with that, let's talk about some of my goals for the next 6 months. I've kind of broken this out with my priorities and my want to do's. And so with those two categories, I do have things that I want to do every single day, and those are my priorities. And then I have things that I would like to do every day, if not most days. And it's okay if I miss those a little bit more than I do my priorities. But my priorities, especially for the next 6 months, are going to be writing and hiking. And by writing, that means editing draft 5 of my project DE, and then I will break that down a little bit more, as well as some further steps into the future with that. But the first step of my writing priority is finishing draft 5 of my high fantasy project that I call Project DE. And then when I say that my second priority is hiking, I mean that any kind of hiking training, hiking, being outside, getting my cardiovascular ability to a point where I can climb mountains this summer, because I have some friends that want to do some very ambitious hikes this summer, or like working out or anything that will basically help me in my hiking goal. I do understand that rest days are important, so I probably won't work out every single day, but at least more often than not, or 5 or so days a week, I want to be training towards hiking. And I will be going into my goals for my priorities a little bit more in just a second, but I also want to talk about some of my want to do items, which include things like journaling and gratitude. I understand that I don't journal every single day, but I always feel so good after journaling and expressing gratitude and listing out I am statements and everything, and kind of just manifesting in that way, that I want to make that much more of a frequent habit. I want to continue putting out consistent YouTube videos and consistent Instagram reels. I like the idea of being social and being outside every day. I know that that will not happen every single day, but that is not quite a priority because writing and hiking are very much on a pedestal right now, but being social and getting outside is something that I would like to do far more days than I don't. And with the fact that we are entering summer, I think that's going to be a lot easier for me to do. And I want to raise my supplemental income for more than it is right now to a certain number that I have in mind that again, I will talk about in just a moment. So before we go ahead and break down some of those goals into more concrete and actionable details, I want to say that one of my huge reasons for doing this and setting these 6 months goals for myself is to work on keeping promises to myself. I'm very good at keeping promises to other people. I'm very good at staying actionable and accountable on things that I promise other people, but I have kind of gotten lost with keeping promises to myself. And that has really affected my procrastination recently. And I just want to get back on top of it where I feel really in control of things again. I also recently watched one of Lynette Adkins' videos all about content creation and what she wished she knew when she started content creating. Because as a content creator and as somebody who is hoping to create more content, especially moving into the future and is kind of starting to like bring in some income, I really want to lean into this concept. And something that she talked about in that video was focusing on the expression of content creation and not the money side of things. And then if you focus enough on the expression and the creative freedom, the money will eventually find its way in. She also said that if you have a job, you have freedom to fail because you still have a consistent paycheck coming in. And that's my current situation is I have a full-time job. It pays me enough to sustain my lifestyle, which is awesome. However, that means that I have the additional time outside of my job to be building those other streams of income so that at some point I don't have to work a 9 to 5 anymore. And because I have this job that pays me consistently, I have the time and the freedom to focus on the things that I want to do, which are like my writing, my hiking, my Instagram, my YouTube channel, all of those things, and just working on building those to things that are sustainable and really fulfilling on like a soul level and not even like a monetary level, but also a monetary level so that I can quit eventually. And then I have creative freedom to do this now and to do how I want to do it. And because I have so much freedom around my job, it makes absolutely no sense for me not to pursue these things. In Lynette's video, she also said, you bring something to this world that no one else has. And you have a unique perspective that no one else has. And so I'm also going to be shifting this YouTube channel away from strictly writing to more of a following my journey and writing and hiking and trying to be more of a content creator and just trying to become more of the person that I want to become. And so it's going to be focused a little bit more on me and my journey than just my writing and my writing journey, even though that is still going to play a very significant part of this channel. That's kind of where I'm going to shift it closer to. So instead of strictly writing vlogs, I'm thinking about opening up my writing vlogs to be a little bit more flexible to whatever is going on in my day. And I'm really looking forward to that shift because I think it's going to be very healthy for me and encouraging me to grow more as a person. This was also influenced because in Lynette's video, she said, people don't just want to see one side of you anymore. They want to see all of it in the roller coaster. They want to see the ups, the downs. They want to see you going through hardship. They want to see you starting where you are and getting better. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the next 6 months is my personal journey and everything that entails in this YouTube channel. And I'm going to be vlogging and I'm going to be continuing to make videos about this. And yes, I'm still going to have a very heavy emphasis on writing, please don't get me wrong, but also just like growing as a person. And I'm excited to see what the next 6 months brings. Lynette closed out that video by asking, how are you working to be the best person that you can be? And then put that into practice. Personal growth should be a top priority. Share where you are right now and as you grow. And that's what I'm going to be doing. As far as breaking down my goals for the next 6 months, I have broken out my writing into month-to-month goals that will work me towards what I want to achieve over the next 6 months. However, for hiking / movement / working out or training or whatever you want to call it, I'm calling it hiking. I would like to do at least an hour of training 5 days a week, and then that would adequately accommodate for 2 days of rest, which I think would be very healthy, especially with trying to ramp up to the level of hiking that I'm trying to do this summer. My current longest hike that I've been on was 5.6 miles and 17,000 feet of elevation gain. And I have some friends that want to do a 14-mile, 5,000 foot of elevation gain hike this summer, and I am already stressed out about it. and that one could be happening in as soon as a month. So I need to be training. Yes, hiking is very much going to be a priority, but yes, the hiking season is probably going to end in like September or maybe October. I don't think it's going to last the whole like technical 6 months, but basically getting myself to a cardiovascular and body fitness level where I can go on these like 14-mile hikes, no problem. And then one of my other friends mentioned potentially doing a 28-mile 3-day backpacking trip, and I've never done a backpacking trip. So that's what I'm training for as far as my hiking ability goes, and that's what my 5-day-a-week, 1-hour goal is. And that one really doesn't change over the 6 months. I'm going to try and get out and do as much hiking as possible. For me, that's probably like 2 to 3 hikes a week. With my job, that's kind of what I can accommodate. And then the other like 2 to 3 days are probably going to be like a gym exercise or like walking around the park several times and just working towards that like cardiovascular ability. As far as my writing goes, I do have the goal that I would like to do 1 hour a day of book work and implement that earlier on into my day than I normally do, because I'm very much like an evening writer. But since I moved out to Utah, I've noticed that a lot of my social plans get in the way of my writing. And that's something that I really want to get ahead of and just be mindful of and get my writing done earlier on in the day so that it doesn't get interrupted or taken over with social time. As some of you know, and that I mentioned earlier, I am currently working on draft 5 of my high fantasy project, Project DE. When I set my 2022 goals at the beginning of the year, my goal for being done with the book completely and starting to look for an agent because I want to traditionally publish was July. And we are entering June, or we are in June. June just started because of when this video is posted. But I think that I'm a couple months behind that, and that is perfectly okay. So with setting these goals, I wanted to kind of update where I'm thinking. I'm going to be done with draft 5, send it out to beta readers, draft 6, and then start looking for an agent. And because I currently have 110,000 words that I still need to edit in draft 5, I am thinking that if I do roughly 1,000 words an hour, it's going to take me 110 hours. This is a different calculation than I calculated a couple videos ago, where I said I could probably do about 2,000 words in an hour, but we're gonna go a little bit more gracious with that and say if I can do 1,000 words an hour, which I think seems pretty fair, especially with how much work is going to be required later on in the book, that I have about 110 hours left of draft 5, and that's how I wanna look at draft 5 and finishing draft 5. And so then I kind of built out a breakdown of this. If I spend 1 hour a day working on draft 5, it is going to take me 3.6 months to complete. That's far longer than I want it to, especially considering that July 17th is going to be the 6th year anniversary of when I started DE, and I would really like to be further than I am. And my goal when I set my 2022 goals was to be done and querying by the 6th year anniversary. I don't think I'm gonna hit that, and that's okay. But then I went a little bit further and I said, okay, if I edit for like an hour and a half a day, that should take me like 2.4 months to complete. If I do 2 hours a day, it should take me 1.7 months to complete. If I do 2.5 hours a day, it should take me 1.4 months to complete. And if I do 3 hours a day, it should take me 1.2 months to complete. Draft 5, that is. And then there's still beta readers and draft 6. But I think that 1 hour a day is a very healthy goal, but I don't like the 3.6 month result that would probably achieve. So I'm gonna say that I would like to do between 1 and 2 hours a day so that I can try to get this done in as close to 2 months as possible. That means that the months of June and July would be spent finalizing draft 5 and finishing draft 5. And then in August, I would send draft 5 out to another round of beta readers. I sent my draft 3 out to beta readers, and the feedback was very, very helpful. And I just kind of want to get a couple more eyes on it before I finish up with draft 6. I am hoping that draft 6 is going to be the last draft that I do before I start looking for an agent. So if I take the first part of August, or whenever I'm done with draft 5, after that, sometime in August, if I take that portion of time to send out to another round of beta readers, probably only like 2 or 3 this time, I sent it out to 5 people last time, to just get some finalizing feedback on it. and then I would start on draft 6, potentially in August, and then potentially not until like September, but I would like to finish draft 6 in September. I'm hoping that there will be minimal changes that need to be made because of how much work I'm putting into draft 5. I'm hoping that draft 6 won't take that much, but we will see. This is my current timeline. And then in October, I hope to be done with draft 6. And so now currently October is my goal for agent hunting and starting to query project DE. And then that would leave November open, which is month 6 of the 6-month goal, to start something new during NaNoWriMo, or to revisit the book that I wrote in high school and reread that, which I also think would be very fun. But it kind of leaves November open as a creative month to start something new. But within the next 5 months, then it seems like I am going to be done with DE. And I think that this is an attainable goal. I just need to put the work in for it. And I feel like that's very true for a lot of things. So 1 to 2 hours a day in June and July will get me done with draft 5. In August, I will send it out to beta readers and start finalizing draft 6. September, I will finish draft 6. October, I will start agent hunting and querying. And then in November, I will get to start something new for NaNoWriMo. So those are my top 2 priorities of writing and hiking. But as far as my goals for my other things that I want to do in the next 6 months, I would like to do a journaling or gratitude practice at least twice a week. I am trying to post YouTube videos twice a week. I am trying to post like 3 Instagram reels a day. I know that I'm not quite hitting those numbers every single day, but as long as I post a minimum of 1, that's great. I want to, on more days than not, listen to an audiobook, do some reading, or listen to a podcast or overall learning to just kind of keep my brain growing. And then as many days as possible, I would like to get outside and be in the sun, just because I can tell with how I am feeling on days that I don't leave my apartment versus days that I do leave my apartment. I'm always in like such a better headspace when I get outside. And with hiking and my hiking practices, that's going to help a lot, but also just like leaving my apartment is so good for my brain. I want to continue growing things like my Fiverr. I currently offer chapter critiques as well as full manuscript critiques on Fiverr. I will leave that linked down in the description box below if you're interested in checking it out. And I want to be social in some aspect every single day. That can be calling a friend, that can be seeing friends in person, whatever it is, I want to be social every single day. I know that I will have a couple days where I'm not fully, but this will happen far more days than it doesn't, and I am not doubting that at all. And then my last would like to do in the next 6 months is raising my supplemental or side income to get to about half of what my job pays me. I'm currently at 1/5 of what my job pays me per month. And I think that over the next 6 months, with the effort that I'm putting into these creative side projects and content creation, that getting that to half of what my job pays me should be doable. So that's what we're going for. And I think that as a part of this, growing my YouTube channel to 15,000 subscribers, which is 4,000 subscribers more than I currently have, is possible. A little ambitious, sure, but possible. As well as getting my Instagram followers to 50,000. I'm currently at 29.9 thousand followers on Instagram, but I'm hoping to get that up to 50. And for my video income off of YouTube and my views off of my reels, I think that growing those platforms will also start to bring in a little bit more money so that I can go from making about 1/5 of my job income from creative sources to about half of my job income from side sources. Again, these next 6 months are all going to be about keeping promises to myself and making sure that I'm prioritizing myself and my dreams and my goals and that I'm working towards them. If you want to join me on this in the next 6 months, feel free to leave your goals and your priorities down in the comment section down below, because I would love to read them and try to hold you guys accountable as well over the next 6 months. So with that, those are my goals for the next 6 months and a little bit of a breakdown of them. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sara Lubratt. If you have not already liked this video, I strongly suggest that you do. First of all, because it's free and it's easy and it supports my channel, so I appreciate that. And if you have not already, and this is somehow the first video that you are finding of mine, make sure that you hit that big red subscribe button, because you clearly made it this far in the video. You must have enjoyed it. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to updating you guys as these next 6 months progress. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Sara Lubratt, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. 1 year in Utah, baby. Let's go.